The unknown, invisible front of money, currency wars in the modern world. Many people believe that wars are only won on gunpowder-scented battlefields, with steel and fire. However, some of the most destructive battles in human history have been fought without a single bullet being fired, with printing presses, interest rates, and exchange rates. These are the currency wars that are not read as heroic epics in high school history books, but which brought entire nations to their knees. When you gain this perspective, you learn that the rise and fall of empires are determined more by the power of currencies than by generals. This issue is not just about numbers. Currency wars are a vital power struggle that determines who can put bread on the table, who will rule, and who will obey. Even today, the value of every penny in your wallet is a result of this invisible war. Economic chemical weapon, the weaponization of money. The logic of currency warfare is as simple as it is insidious. To turn money into a weapon of mass destruction, a country might deliberately devalue its currency simply to make its own exports cheaper. Another method is to flood markets with cheap credit to destabilize its competitors. This might seem like a clever macroeconomic strategy, but these moves are actually chemical weapons of the economy. While poisoning your competitor, you inevitably condemn the well-being of your own people to that poisonous atmosphere. The first modern example in history occurred during the Great Depression. After the collapse of 1929, when the world economy descended into chaos, nations resorted to the weapon of competitive devaluation to survive. In 1931, the British pound, and in 1933, the American dollar, sharply reduced their value against gold. But instead of stimulating trade, these moves triggered a poor your neighbor spiral, paving the economic path to the Second World War, from Rome to Bretton Woods, a history of betrayal. In fact, this system was not new. The Roman Empire used the same method to bring about its own downfall. 2,000 years ago, Rome's power rested on the reliability of the silver denarius. But as the cost of war increased, emperors mixed silver with copper, stealing the value from the currency. When the silver content dropped from 100% to below 5%, Rome was essentially collapsing from within. Even before the barbarians at the gates, Rome was destroyed by its own devalued currency. In the first century, this war became more institutionalized. The Bretton Woods system, established after World War II, built the current global financial structure on the dollar and gold. However, this system gave the U.S. an incredible power imprint. By 1971, when the U.S. could no longer find gold to back the dollars it printed, President Nixon announced the closure of the gold window overnight. The world was trapped in the modern age of currency wars, where money no longer had a physical equivalent, but was based solely on the promises of states. Now, let's look at the hidden gunners, the Plaza Agreement, and the Asian crisis. The harshest blows in currency wars are sometimes struck at seemingly friendly tables. The Japanese economy, which was on the rise in the 1980s, negatively impacted the U.S. with the 1985 Plaza Agreement. Major powers artificially inflated the value of the Japanese yen, stripping Japan of its export power. At the end of this operation, in which not a single penny was lost, Japan was condemned to a recession that lasted over 30 years, from which it still hasn't recovered. A similar devastation was seen in the 1997 Asian crisis. The Thai baht, which collapsed due to speculative attacks, plunged a large region into poverty overnight. Currency War 4.0, the front of the future. Today, we're on a much more complex front. Now, not only devaluations, but also negative interest rates, endless money printing programs, and digital sanctions are being used as weapons. The competition between the U.S. and China is normally a struggle for the throne of the global currency. The most dangerous aspect of currency wars is this: when a bomb falls, you hear the explosion, but when your money loses value, you only feel it on the price tag of the supermarket shelf. By the time the headlines report the situation, the damage has already been done. That's why financial literacy isn't just information, it's a survival armor. If you don't want the system to choose you as a casualty, instead of believing in the illusion of numbers, you should focus on and direct yourself towards real value, information, and strategy. If you want to learn finance, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. Take care and learn finance.